Ron Desantis, Florida governor, recently banned a curriculum from the public schools in Florida. This was AP African American Studies, is what it was called. I took African American history when I was in high school 20 years ago, and I did it voluntarily, and I was very enriched by the experience. So I do support African American history in schools. But this curriculum that they were calling AP African American History or Studies was nothing of the like. And African Americans would be very shocked and offended, I believe, if they read what was in this curriculum and what was associated with their shared experience. Now, I'm going to tell you why I enjoyed African American history and why I think it's important. And I'm also going to tell you why this AP African American Studies curriculum is not that at all. And all they're doing is playing word games. So stick around with me and like and subscribe. In my senior year of high school, we were only required, I think, 4 classes to graduate, but we had 7 periods, which means that I had to come up with some extras. And one of those that were available was African American history. Normally, you wouldn't see somebody of my skin tone in that class, but I figured it would be a unique experience at least, and I was interested, so I took it. And it actually ended up being, like I said, a very enriching experience. It's a deeper dive into African American history that you wouldn't normally get from a regular history class. And when you're focusing totally on that aspect, you learn things that you wouldn't normally learn. And going through this history, even the bumpy parts of the history, and being able to actually have a discussion with people about this, discussion with African American people, and them being able to have a discussion with me about it, I'm sure it was very helpful for both sides. It was very friendly all the time. I knew these kids. We weren't strangers or anything, but it was still a very great experience, and I learned things that I wouldn't have normally learned or known had I not taken that class, and I'm glad I did. But this curriculum that Governor DeSantis is banning is not that at all. I'm going to show you what it is right now. So here's the syllabus for this AP African American Studies. And most of it is pretty basic stuff. But once we get into Unit 4, that's when things start to derail a bit. So let's go straight down to Unit 4 and let's see what students would be learning at that point. So here's Unit 4. And once we get to topic 4.13, you see that the Black feminist movement and womanism. The topic explores the Black feminist movement, the concept of womanism, and approaches that center the unique everyday experiences of Black women. Students may analyze a text such as the Combahee River Collective Statement or an excerpt from writers such as Kinga Yamata Taylor, Alice Walker, or Audre Lorde. African American women's history and the meta-language of race. The topic explores scholarship on the intersections of analyses of race, power, and Black women's experiences in a text by Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham. Intersectionality and activism. This topic examines intersectionality as an analytical framework and its connection to Chicana and Asian American feminist thought. Students may explore a text from the writings of Kimberly Crenshaw, Patricia Hill Collins, or Angela Davis. Can somebody please tell me what any of this has to do with African American history or studies? Black feminist literacy thought. What does that have to do with African American studies? Black queer studies. The topic explores the concept of the queer of color critique, grounded in Black feminism and intersectionality as a Black studies lens that shifts sexuality studies toward racial analysis. Students may examine texts by writers such as Kathy Cohen, Roderick Ferguson, and E. Patrick Johnson. Incarceration and abolition. This topic explores the long history of Black incarceration from the 13th Amendment to the present and the influence of 19th century policies on the prison industrial complex. Students may examine the relationship between carceral studies and abolition movements in the work of a scholar such as Michelle Alexander. When they talk about abolition movements, they're talking about abolishing the prisons, abolishing incarceration. Post-racial racism and colorblindness. This topic explores concepts such as post-racialism, colorblindness, racecraft, or inequality through a scholarly text by authors such as Eduardo Bonilla Silva and Barbara J. Fields. Instead of finding common ground and showing that we're all one nation, they want to continue and perpetuate the racial divides and hates. This is all Marxism related, of course. Movements for Black Lives. This topic explores the origins, mission, and global influence of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, the Black Lives Matter movement has been shown to be a scam, and the starter of that movement has gotten lawsuit because she took all that money that they donated and just bought houses with it. And then look at this, Black Futures and Afrofuturism. This topic explores the cultural aesthetics and practices of Afrofuturism. Students may examine a scholarly or literary text or film, such as an example from the writings of Octavia Butler, Tiffany E. Barber, or the film Black Panther. Good Lord. So there you have it. As you can see, this curriculum that Governor Ron DeSantis has decided not to allow in his schools is not African American histories or African American studies. It's something totally different. It's Marxism indoctrination is what it is. And it's okay to teach ideas. I have no problem with teaching some of these ideas, but you don't teach them as if these ideas are fact. You teach it as in it is an idea that some people have. That way other people can ridicule it and make fun of it, and then everyone sees that it's a bad idea. So I'm not into banning things outright, but this can't be taught as if this is fact. And this can't be taught as if this is the way the world is supposed to work and our country is supposed to work. We need to, in order to live in a peaceful and happy society, come together and realize that the only way to do that is to see each other as equal human beings. And that's not what this teaches. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you haven't done so already, and subscribe if you aren't. If you are subscribed, thank you for coming back and watching again. And until next time, peace be with you.